Welcome God of War fans! My name is Shayne Static, and in this God of War theory video, I will be discussing how did Kratos survive after God of War 3. Please leave a like if you did enjoy your time here, and think about subscribing so you don't miss out on any content from me. Here we go.
Kratos. He has been around the block a time or two, and has slain more than his fair share of enemies, people, and gods alike. But at the end of God of War 3, we were subjected to this scene right here.
You fool! What have you done? No!
So yeah, Kratos stabbed himself with the Blade of Olympus to release the power of hope. But we all know that Kratos survived and has moved on. He had found the Norse realm, found Faye, and had a kid, aka our boy Atreus. But how did Kratos survive after God of War 3? How could anyone survive taking the Blade of Olympus right through their midsection? However, Kratos did, and we are going to be looking into how I think he survived. So let's go all the way back to the first God of War, and for all of you who are not familiar with how Kratos became the servant of Ares, check it out right here because it has a lot to do with my theory.
And at once, Kratos knew who was responsible. For this was not the first time he'd seen the ruin Ares and his minions had left in their wake. Kratos had experienced it firsthand, years before. The youngest and boldest captain in the Spartan army, Kratos inspired fierce loyalty in his men. It had always been enough to carry them through any battle, until this day. The barbarians to the east numbered in the thousands, and descended on the Spartans without mercy. The battle lasted mere hours. The discipline and training of the Spartans did little to stem the tide of the merciless barbarians. The soldiers faced a massacre, while their young captain faced the end of his brilliant career and his life. But to Kratos, victory was worth any price, even his soul.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours.
That desperate call for aid would come to haunt Kratos for all his days.
So in a nutshell, Kratos was fighting a great battle as a great Spartan general against a gigantic barbarian army. But the barbarian army was too big and too powerful for the Spartans to overcome. So before Kratos could die at the hands of the barbarian leader, he swore allegiance to Ares, the Greek god of war, if he would destroy his enemies. Ares came to Kratos' aid and destroyed the barbarian army, and to also curse Kratos to forever serving him. And he did. But during this curse, among the one that binded Kratos to Ares, did Ares curse Kratos with something else? At the end of the original God of War, Kratos kills Ares with an extremely conveniently placed sword, as seen right here.
Remember, Kratos, it was I who saved you in your time of greatest need. I haven't forgotten, Ares. I remember how you saved me. That night, I was trying to make you a great warrior. You succeeded.
Now Kratos wants the visions of his past taken away from him so he could not remember all the horrors that he did in the name of Ares. Athena tells Kratos that his sins are forgiven, but the wiping of his memories and his nightmares was not part of their agreement that they had made, and also because no god could forget what Kratos had done. Then we are treated to this scene right here, where Kratos tries to relieve his suffering.
In the end, knowing the visions of his past would never leave him, Kratos made his way to the bluffs overlooking the Aegean Sea.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness. The fate of Kratos was not as it seemed. The gods had other plans. Borne aloft like a feather, Kratos found himself risen from the sea and placed on solid earth.
Notice how the gods of Olympus stopped Kratos for ending his own life here. Now this just might be a fluke thing, because the gods still needed Kratos for their own bidding, and so he could claim the throne of the God of War. But it kinda works for my theory. Now let's go to God of War 3. Yes, the scene we're all thinking about. This scene. Now how did Kratos survive this? Now there's a theory going around that Persephone cursed Kratos with immortality, which could very well be true and makes sense as well. But this is what I think. I think Ares from the original God of War had a little extra, let's call it flair, when cursing Kratos. I think Ares cursed Kratos so he could not die by his own hand or by his own will. Think about it for a second, and it might make sense to you. Ares had to make sure Kratos couldn't get out of their agreement. So Ares cursed Kratos so he couldn't end his own suffering as kind of a failsafe. Because, let's face it, Kratos doesn't back down from a challenge, and I don't think he would let anyone kill him. And I think Ares knew this. So this is how I think Kratos survived after this scene. I think it was Ares all along. So what do you think about this theory? Do you agree, or do you think I am way off? Tell me in the comments down below, and let's discuss it.
My name is Shayne Static. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.